Hello, everyone, and finally the moment is here. Game Week 1 pod, guys, and this time we are going to finally reveal our drafts, talk about what our teams look like, and what are our lock picks, and probably some places that we are still curious about and might change in the last minute. And with that, let me introduce my boys Vimarsh, Aman, Suraj. How are we doing, boys?
All good, all good. It's getting very hectic with these draft changes and just like looking at all the content on the internet, just trying to fix your draft. So yeah, really exciting.
Yeah, like we are at the business end of the first game week deadline, and it's basically just trying to gather all the information that we need to lock those picks. Almost, I think a good portion of our drafts are sort of locked, but then there are some very contentious places we're still unsure about. So yeah, let's try to get to a place where we almost have it locked by the end of this pod.
Yeah, for me, I've made so many changes that at this point I'm fine with whatever I have, and let's just start with the game. I just want to watch football now.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
just
I
two
mean, I
nights
just
away.
I just wanted to ask you guys, like, doesn't it get sometimes a bit too much for all of you with like the amount of data we're surrounded with, and the amount of content we're consuming around, just trying to get that. It's exciting, but sometimes it's also a little bit frustrating, a little bit exhausting. What do you guys do
I
in
think
that
the
situation?
one good thing this time around is that the creators that I'm following this time are Vimarsh, Aman, and Suraj only. So it has just made my life little bit easy and cut out the noise. So that's helped me a lot. But yeah, it's I've been trying to avoid as much as narratives and bandwagons as possible. But yeah, with just 2 nights away, I think I'm not going to think a lot into it. And I know the game week one is just first level of information, and by game week three is what we'll see the real FPL kicking in. But excited, very excited
Yeah,
with the new season.
awesome, awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Quick plug for Fantasy Football Scout. All of our data in the upcoming slides, as well as in the podcast that we've done previously on our channel, has been referenced from FF Scout. They are offering a subscription with the brand new members area. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please go to the description link below and subscribe them. This is surely going to help you achieve your targets for this particular season, and with the information that's updated every minute in terms of the projection, the planner that is there, I think you'll really have a great time using this tool. All right, guys, who wants to kick in? Who wants to run the show tonight? Aman?
I guess let's start the discussion with what are we expecting in game week one and actually the first few game weeks. So here we have the expected goals for up till game week six for all the teams, and let's just focus at game week one first of all. So over there, clearly Liverpool is expected to do the best out of all, followed by Spurs against. A week and a new Burnley side back into the Premier League. Uh, and then we have Man City going away to Wolves, followed by Chelsea, who are hosting Crystal Palace. So, sort of, again, where we are in the dilemma of whether we should go with Salah or should we trust Haaland or should we go both? Both are expected to do pretty well in the first game week, it seems. Uh, Currently, I'm like a lot of us, I think, are relying on Salah based on his previous few seasons. He's a pretty reliable pick, and he does come through. He always, has a strong start to the season. So I think, yeah, Liverpool is a amazing shout. And if you're looking on a little bit longer horizon as well, right? So the two teams that are popping up are actually Liverpool and City. So while we might not have a lot of City coverage or City attacking players in our teams, it begs the question, what are we planning to do, especially that game week six, right, wherein there is no better team than City. Like I've ever seen expected goals as high as three. So it is clearly showing that we cannot let go of that juicy fixture against Burnley at home, which City has. Other than that, I think, yeah, Liverpool is a standout. So we're banking on them. Spurs is a decent shout this time as well. Solanke has been in a lot of our drafts and now out with his recent injury, although he's recovering, it seems. And then Chelsea is another interesting team wherein I think a lot of people are going heavy on them. Uh, Arsenal, though expected to score a fair few, I don't think a lot of us are hot on them in the initial few weeks. What are your thoughts, Varun, Suraj,
Yeah. I mean, just
Vimarsh?
I'm just surprised with the Spurs having so much expected like XG in the first game, considering they've had kind of a lackluster preseason. I didn't see too much from them. And although I was just going to say this while we are recording this, PSG is playing Tottenham, and guess who scored? Van
Solanke?
Who-
Van de Ven scores.
Oh
Oh
so,
my
my
God.
God.
so,
Seriously.
so I was just gonna mention that I don't know why Spurs is so high on XG, and they just score with I think a very highly owned defender from the team. So I mean, it's pretty
Not
cool.
sure how highly owned he is, though. I
I
mean,
think he's pretty highly owned. A lot of
Van
people
de
have him
Ven is
in.
very highly owned.
Yeah,
He's in top five of all defenders in
considering
the
he's
game
four and
right
a
now.
half, and I mean, looking at this XG of 2.3, it's even more than City against Wolves, although it's away. So I'm pretty surprised
yeah,
by that. So
he's pretty. Yeah, he's
yeah,
a template pick right now.
yeah,
22.5% owned.
yeah. So maybe you'll see some
Yeah,
more transfer ins tomorrow or before the deadline.
Yeah.
it's a bandwagon for
Yeah,
sure.
Oh,
He's gonna be there.
yeah. I mean,
I,
Back
I
to the
just
drawing board. Yeah, back to the drawing board again.
but if you look at this, I mean, Chelsea are rated to be scoring 2 goals against Crystal Palace, but the performance that we saw,
yeah,
do you think it's going to be difficult, or it's fair to assume it's Chelsea and the volume of chances they create? And if you look at the Chelsea's run throughout till game week 6, it's kind of expected that a
around two.
barring game week 5 fixture, which is against United, even I won't count that out. But I feel like Chelsea are stable enough to score 2 goals, and like that's why Palmer and Pedro are like the currently two most owned players in the game right now.
Yep,
For sure, for sure. Like I think we have a amazing set of strikers with us. There's enough firepower in the midfield to create a lot of chances for them, and the strikers are good enough to finish those chances off. So I am betting high on Chelsea. I think we will be amongst goals. We will definitely be amongst the top three, four, highest scoring teams this season. That's my bet on Chelsea. So yeah, it's not a surprise that we have almost 2 goals per match average for the first 6 matches, except for United. So yeah,
even City.
Even
City has a very high XG in all the games except the one against Arsenal away. Like Burnley home, they have an XG of 3. So it's pretty insane. And game week 1, 2, and 4, it's like more than upwards of 2.
yeah.
So
Oh,
very high XG, and considering like a lot of our teams and teams managers in general won't have too many City picks generally. I mean, except like Rangers now probably, but yeah,
yeah. If you see Will
yeah,
also, it's interesting. Now that we know Rogers would might be fit for game week 1, if they're almost scoring 2 per game, so that is 4 attacking returns. And I think given the stats that we saw with Watkins and Rogers picking up around 50 to 70% of that chunk share, I think we can have both in our team.
Yeah, if they are projected to score like 10 goals in this 6 game weeks, I am saying 50% of that will be Watkins and let's say 3 assists. So, given the contribution he usually has, so like I think the numbers are fair. The only thing like I've seen this not just in this is SolioAnalytics view, not just in this view, but there are a lot of models that are rating Brighton very high, and if you see they are 1.8 against Fulham. I particularly am not very convinced that Rutter and Welbeck is there only, and then maybe because they've lost Pedro, they've lost Ferguson. So like there then has to be Hosler is I know he's kind of a maverick manager and kind gets those crazy results. But are you guys rating Brighton that high? I've not considered them again in any of my drafts so till now.
yeah, it's getting tough. Like last season, I think almost all of us had Pedro in our teams. He was really cheap at 5.5, but he's not there anymore. And Welbeck was also 5.5. He was also a good pick until he was fit, and he actually scored some 10 goals, so not bad. But now again, Welbeck is 6.5, and we don't even know whether Welbeck will have the penalties as well. There's a good chance that maybe it could be Rutter, or it could also be O'Reilly, but probably not Welbeck. So again, Welbeck has lost his appeal. Midfield, Mitoma, he's a decent consideration, but again, like my issue
mm,
with Brighton was that they were not consistent last year. I could not trust them, like say, even if they had a good fixture run and they would come through with consistent wins. So that was not happening for some reason with Brighton last year. So it's a little bit of a wait and watch for me. Although I'm really interested in a fair few midfielders from Brighton, including Mitoma and Rutter.
With
But
yeah,
I'm still considering that. It's a decent shot. But what I wanted to highlight was West Ham, guys. Like, people have been going crazy on West Ham, including, having Bowen, Fulkrug, and their defenders in their draft from an attacking perspective as well. The best XG that they are expected in the first six is just the first game week, which is against Sunderland away. And that too is just 1.55, a high possibility that it could either be just between Bowen or full crew could be the end, at the end of it.
Yep.
I don't rate them. Uh,
I
you
have a
know, at the
perspective
attack.
there. Paqueta is back from his like the ongoing issue he had last season with the suspension and everything. So when he's back, then the creativity increases. He also is a set piece taker, so that is like where I think some aid to Bowen and Fulkrug there. But I think some of set piece threat that Bowen might by himself have could be taken away by Paqueta. So
I mean, yeah,
overall, I think the number of volume of the chances they'll create with him in the side back, I think it'll slightly higher than last season, and we can expect these numbers. With Bowen, I think he when we were talking about the striker pod, also we've seen the second half of the season how well he's performed. He's overperformed his XA and XG both. So that says something, and it's not just like it was a outlier out there. I think it's more of his clinical or talisman play that he has for West Ham that shines there. So I think he's a decent pick when even if you are going in the season. I don't initially I was finding that 8 million point price point to be tough to reconcile with myself, but now I feel it's good value for money still.
yeah, I think West Ham is a good team. I think they have some good players, and I personally expect them to do well. I was tinkering with my drafts, and I had Bowen in for a while as well. And who knows, I might have him in the end. And I saw some of their preseason friendlies. Diouf is whipping in some excellent crosses, so that's why probably he's there in a lot of drafts. One player we also forget is Ward-Prowse. So they have a huge set piece threat as well. So I think there's a good number of players then, right? Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, Fulkrug up forward if he starts all the games, and then Bowen. And I think in general, if there's a West Ham goal, I almost more than half the time expect to see Bowen's name there. So yeah, let's see. Even Van Bissaka there, so he's also there. He's also a template pick in a lot of drafts. So a good set of players, in my opinion.
right.
I think we've pretty much covered the key teams from an attacking sense. Let's look at the clean sheet chances, and that'll give some perspective of overall how the team structure is looking. So we can start with the teams that are people are even doubling up on the defense. Maybe Nottingham Forest, Murillo, Milinkovic, Nico Williams, and even Sells as a goalkeeper is popular. They have a decent clean sheet percentage. If I look at all of these fixtures, maximum in obviously in the game week 5 and 6 where they're facing the promoted size and against West Ham also. Although I rate the first game week also pretty high given Brentford do not have a striker fixed right now. Visa seems to be going towards Newcastle. Thiago that they have right now, and they are also thinking of buying another striker. So right now, not much cohesion at front over there. So I think Forest can have a good time on the pitch in the first game week over there. The other team that is standing out and people are banking upon is and like basically tinkering between their player is either it's a Van der Ven or a Poro or a Romero who's just been declared as a captain. Van der Ven just scored also, and then Udogi also is a good shout. I think he's suffering a niggle right now, but that's another team people are considering as a decent run when we are looking at the fixture run. Other than that, I think from an Everton, Tarkowski is someone who's been picked. But what are your thoughts from a clean sheet perspective? Which teams do you feel are standard? Obviously, Liverpool City are also featuring here, but how are we seeing interpreting this particular win?
So what I'm liking is Aston Villa's clean sheet odds. I have Konsa in my team for those clean sheet points, so I'm happy with that pick. And also, I'm surprised West Ham with 1.34. I get it, they might keep a clean sheet against Sunderland, uh, but I doubt, given the reinforcement that Sunderland has done.
So basically, what we're seeing is there are the usual suspects like Liverpool, City, and Arsenal who are pretty high, and including Chelsea. Like these are some of the teams which are very high on the clean sheet odds or chances. And then you have the second tier, which is Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa uh, featuring over there. So, and Spurs as well. So these are the next, few teams that a lot of people are considering. And then, there's also a mix of, your DEFCON points, which can come into our thinking when we are making those selections for the defenders. But I think for the start of the season, I'm pretty sure a lot of us would be looking at a premium defender from City, Liverpool, or Tottenham and Chelsea. And then we have a few DEFCON specialists from teams like Nottingham Forest. And then the cheap 4.5s from, maybe we can go for attacking upside, or again, DEFCON potential from teams like maybe Fulham or Tottenham or West Ham even. So yeah, that's how, it's what it looks to me. There's not any team which has a clear continuous good run of fixtures from a clean sheet perspective. Maybe Chelsea
City.
is there. City and Chelsea, yeah. City also, again, City, like if you see the third fixture is under 30%. At least Chelsea, almost every fixture is above 30. Two of them close to 40% chances, right? So apart, and that too is not amazing, to be honest. Like, so yeah, I mean, from what I feel is, I think the thinking has to be to go for those DEFCON defenders.
Yeah, I'm
But
not sure
Chelsea
if
has lost Colville. So
yeah,
do you think
exactly.
that hampers?
Yeah, no, but like we've been doing pretty well. We have deep reinforcements in almost all positions.
Yes.
Everybody knows, like we have Chaluba and we have Tosin, and even
Fofana.
Fofana is also returning. So yeah, there's good depth over there, and even Jarel Hatto, who's the new recruit, he can also play center back. So we have a good depth. It shouldn't matter too much in terms of impact on our clean sheet potential. Yeah, sure. Like Levi Colville is, backbone of that defense. He's very essential to our team structure at Chelsea. But we have good reinforcements to chip in.
Right, right.
Right.
But I don't think this clean sheet data has considered injuries and everything because I do see off cases
Obviously.
somewhere here and there. But again, in FPL, never go for clean sheets. It's very hard to predict, at least at the start of the season. One interesting point that I would like to make is Newcastle also. I mean, why we are not considering Newcastle at all? In the last two seasons, previous seasons, we have uh, gone for their central defender or their attacking wing backs. But why not this
I think it's
season?
just their fixture run. I mean, they play Aston Villa away, Liverpool home, and Arsenal home in the first 6 game weeks. I mean, they have third and fourth game week is relatively easier, and you can see that in the percentages. But that's the primary reason. I think if they score in the first 2 games, which is Aston Villa away and Liverpool home, you might see a lot of transfers in from Newcastle's perspective in the third game week with Leeds and uh, Wolves. And by that time, you'll
Mm.
also have an idea of who's going to start or who's going to be a regular starter and who's going to play where, because there are a lot of players up forward with Elanga, Murphy, Barnes, and Gordon, and who knows if they sign somebody else. Let's see.
Yeah.
But from defensive perspective, I think even Lewis Hall is injured right now, is what I
Yeah.
understand. So not sure how they're doing. Like also, it's a club with like which has a lot of things going on with them. They couldn't find any of, basically they were rejected by all of the targets that they went for. Uh, they have lost Isaac, who's not willing to play for them at all now. So there's a lot of negativity surrounding the club right now. I don't want to go there right away. I don't think the mood would be amazing at St. James Park, although it's always tough for any team, going there. But yeah, I mean, for me, I'll see when they have a little bit clear fixture run and they're in the zone.
Hmm. Makes sense. Okay, let's move to
All right,
our
so
draft rating.
basically, let's go and look at what everybody has come here for, right? Like it's that time, and we have all our drafts ready. So before we start discussing my draft, here's a humble request to for all the viewers who are watching our video to just like and follow us on our YouTube channel. We're also pretty active on Instagram and Twitter or X, and we're we're making a lot of efforts. We're putting a lot of hard work to bring all of this content, create all those visuals, assimilate all the data, and give you all the insights in the best way possible. So do support us, support our channel, and would be really thankful for that. So yeah, let's carry on with the draft then. So let's start with mine first. So I have Sanchez and Dubravka in goal. I have Pedro Porro, Murillo, Diouf, Anderson, and Steve in defense, and Salah, Palmer, Wirtz, and Reinders and Rogers in my mid, and Watkins, Mateta, and Mark Q up forward. So yeah, I mean, I think I am almost certain for about almost 10 to 11 positions, like Dubravka, Nottingham Forest defender. Uh, Diouf could be somebody else, but I like him for his attacking upside. And Anderson and Steve, these guys are fixed in my defense. For midfield, I think Salah, Palmer, Wirtz, Renders even, they're all a lock for me. And up front, I think I will definitely stick with Watkins and Mark Q. A few considerations are the ones which are highlighted, like there could be different combinations or different basically different combinations of players. So for example, I could downgrade Sanchez to a 4.5, Kelleher, and Pedro could become, say, Kukurea, and Diouf, in place of Diouf, I can actually get Van de Ven. So I have that Tottenham coverage as well as the Chelsea attacking upside with Kukurea, and a decent goalkeeper in Kelleher. It's only that he's currently a doubt because of lack of match fitness. I don't think that should be a problem. He should be starting in that Brentford goal first game week itself. So yeah, that's something that I'm considering. Although Pedro Porro, I feel, has a huge upside in that Tottenham team. He will be playing really up top, like almost like a winger, and he'll have corners. And while there's no, a, a creative force right now in Tottenham, so he will be taking responsibility for a lot of those free kicks and corners and chance creation as well. So I mean, he's a really exciting pick in my view. So I am currently, considering between Poro and Kukurea. Kukurea again, like he finds himself right on top of the box all the time. Like he is always somehow, reaching the top of the box to finish those chances or be involved in those chances. He had four double digits all last season, so there's an amazing upside with Kukurea. He can score basically 15 points, and he has a decent DEFCON threat as well. Not very high, but decent. And then other consideration for me is the fifth midfielder. Somehow I think I've convinced myself that Renders will start. I think this could come to bite me. Uh, it's a chance I think I'm willing to take because I think Renders really could be that Gundogan type of player this season. He could have a lot of goals. Again, he arrives late in the box, and he recently, like in the last preseason game, I was watching the highlights. He should have scored that hat trick. He was really disappointed with himself to have not finished with a hat trick. And so yeah, there's a legit threat. And considering I do not have any other City attacker, and we just saw their XG in the first six, I think he does provide me some bite into that City defense, and as well as it keeps me interested. Like, so I like to play FPL in a way wherein I like to keep players from the teams that I want to watch, and not having any City player, I don't think I'd like that. So Rangers is that's why Rangers for me, I think it's almost certain. It could be that I go for, say, an Anderson in place of him, and maybe Pedro Porro becomes Ait Nouri. Somehow I feel like Ait Nouri and Rangers both are almost certain to start in that City team. It's just that you just don't know when Pep might think of starting, say, Nico Riley in place of Ait Nouri sometime. So then we just don't know that. Same with Rangers, like uh, whether Pep will do some roulette, or whether he'll be very restricted initially till the time uh, Rodri is injured. So again, I'm willing to take a chance on that, and so there he is. Rogers could be, some one more player who could maybe not end up in my draft, but currently I really like him. He's just coming back because he's been spotted in training today, and if he's fit, he will start. That's how, that's what Emery has sort of indicated to us the entire previous season, whether it was the Champions League matches or the Premier League. He was starting, twice a week. So he's that reliable pick, and even Emery trusts him. So I think uh, with those Villa fixtures, it's going to be Watkins and Rogers, hogging those chances and those goals and assists. Although I feel I could play with the two picks that I have, which is Mateta and Rogers. Mateta could become for me João Pedro.
I mean, why don't you have
So I
Pedro
have,
there? You should have Pedro there, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So see, so that's the dilemma. Bateta has penalties. That's the thing. Clearly Eze was really bad at them. I think Mateta has them now. So penalties give a new upside to
But
Mateta.
tough fixtures
Pedro
for
doesn't.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
I feel they are a team who can score. And I was actually checking, if I have to just quickly see the fixtures. So Mateta basically has Chelsea, Forest, and Villa, and he actually scored against
All of
I
them.
think Chelsea and Villa both last season.
Right.
So he, it's not like he has a bad record against these teams. Surprisingly, uh, Ismaila Sarr also scored, and he
Right.
scored I think against Villa and Nottingham Forest.
Right. I think all of us had him for quite some time last season. Like,
Right.
yeah.
So that's my consideration. I could actually just switch Rogers to Ismaila Sarr and have the other main attacker of that Crystal Palace team. And I think with Eze being linked with Spurs quite heavily, and I think that should go through. I think the responsibility will fall even more on Ismaila Sarr, and he will be very pivotal and even more pivotal than he's right now in those, you know, uh, in that Crystal Palace team. Also, interestingly, see, if we see the structure here, I'm basically playing 3-5-2 every week or a 4-4-2. If say I don't want to play my fifth midfielder in some of the weeks, or they're rotating better with another defender, Q is basically a bench warmer here. But what happens if I have Sar and I play him? What I've noticed, right, like he tends to score more in those difficult fixtures. And Palace has actually those kind of fixtures in their opening run. Like they have Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Villa, and then they have Sunderland, West Ham, and Liverpool in sixth. So I really like Sar in those kind of fixtures, the first three ones, right? I think Sar has the potential to do pretty well in those fixtures. And then, I really want to keep that 7.5 million spot up top, because Mateta can become, or say Joao Pedro can later become Mateta, or the other way around. Or I can even get, say, a Sesko, say three weeks down the line if United start taking well. So I really like that 7.5 million forward spot. And Watkins, for sure, I want to go with him. And if he doesn't do well, and say Gyökeres or say even Ekitike emerges, that's somewhere I can quickly and easily go to. So I really like the 9 million and 7.5 million spot up top. Wirtz, I think I was thinking, I'm not sure how he'll have a start to this Premier League, but he's shown already he's like a world class player. He will be in the thick of chances every time he plays in those team, and surprisingly he almost hit Tefcon ceiling, in the Community Shield. So right, there's a good potential over there, and he's also the creator in chief, I feel. So there's a very high assist threat from Wirtz. So
Right.
he's a lock. I don't think I'm going without Salah Palmer at all in the initial in game week 1. That's pretty much a lock. So yeah, those are the few considerations. What do you guys think? That I should do with my dilemmas. Like, do you think I should go Pedro over Mateta, or should I go Sar over Rogers, or what do you think
Before
about the premium defender spot, that Poro spot?
I think
I think
Pedro or Mateta.
before we get into that, PSG is 2-0 down. Romero also scored.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, Cuti Romero. The defense, man. Oh my God.
There's
The
going to be a lot
centre
of
back.
lot of transfers in for
Lot of
Spurs
changes.
players,
Oh my God, I don't know what
but
I'm gonna do.
even I didn't
So
have any. I might be considering them.
initial thoughts, Aman, my team is very similar. I think we
My team
didn't
is
even
similar too.
discuss.
I think
Yeah,
I'm on
like
the
I
right
think
track.
8 or 9 players. I think we
No,
anyway.
we are on the right track because our team is similar to yours.
Yeah, that's
I'm scared now.
because this is my validation, k-fold validation with Aman. Anyway, so
So,
my thought is, I just somewhere I feel like, uh, given you going with Rogers, who could be nailed, I just feel the Diouf and Anderson keeping both is just where I'm not a little settling with this team. And then Poro, are you planning a game week 3 transfer to Munoz, or are you planning a
That's the
free hit for
idea
Phil?
that I want to move him into monos, and that's what he's there for.
What's the
Yeah,
rationale behind
otherwise I feel
Anderson?
fine.
Like Anderson, is it
I'll
just for
tell you.
Defcon?
Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you. So basically, Anderson rotates really well with Poro and Murillo in their tough fixtures. So I think Murillo has a tough game week 4 fixture. I think that's against Arsenal, right? And in that game week, Anderson plays Leeds, so he comes in for Murillo in that week. So he basically is a cover for me whenever I have to play, or he is rotating well with the other players when I have to play him over anybody else. So that's the thinking. And as well, Anderson was right up there in DEFCON points. So he's good for DEFCON in that Fulham team. Fulham has a like a middling run, I'd say, in the initial 6 fixtures, at least, barring leads in game week 4. So that makes for a good DEFCON ceiling. And Marco Silva is a mean coach. He knows how to defend well. Fulham, I think they'll do all right.
But
And
they're not well known for their defensive prowess in general. Fulham, they do leak goals, so
yep.
they
they
do.
score, but they leak too.
But
Same with Tottenham.
he's not going to be my starting
But
defender
don't you think?
anyway.
I mean, I wouldn't personally have a Fulham defender. You could possibly replace him with someone like a Richard or someone, so that you don't have to
Exactly.
go with that extra Crystal Palace transfer, and you could
Yeah.
probably
See,
upgrade Pedro Porro to somebody else. I would do that. I mean,
that's
yeah.
yeah, that's the idea. See, since I'm planning for Pedro Porro to Munoz, it doesn't make sense to have a double Crystal Palace defense. Anyway, the first 3 fixtures are not, those
Mm.
wherein I'd probably like to play a Crystal Palace defender. So that's where I'm, a little bit torn. The other easy solution could be I drop Poro, I move him into, say, a 6 million Kukurea, for example. I could go with Sanchez as down to Kelleher, that, or maybe just Rogers down to Sar, right? Rogers down to Sar gives me 5.5. Poro is upgraded to, say, a Kukurea or 8 Nuri. Rather, I keep Sanchez, and then maybe Diouf becomes Richards, or Diouf becomes Van de Ven, and Van de Ven I can move out into Richards in game week 3.
And Vanderbilt might score too now.
So
Who
my
knows?
thought is, if you move
Who knows?
Rogers down to a 6.5, I like the look of Kudus and Sar over there, and I even like the look of Tillemans over there. Right now, it's said that Tillemans could be the penalty taker of Aston Villa, which
Right.
is a huge shout. And he has, like, if I talk about DEFCON per 90, it's around 10, 11. So he has a ceiling of hitting those DEFCON pointers also, which is why when Rogers news went out, I felt like that's a good opportunity to save that 1 million and upgrade my defense. And then you can probably improve your Anderson to a 5.5, which could be. So I like the look of Poro already. I like the look of Murillo, and I just want to make either Diouf or Anderson to a 5.5, where I would like suggest uh, anyone, like, could be a Forest double up, or it could be even
Go
Tarkovsky for
for
that.
go for 6 million. Find 0.5 million from somewhere and go for 6 million defenders. There are only Poro, Murillo, and Munoz at
Milenkovic.
Tarkovsky.
5.5.
Tarkovsky is
Tarkovsky,
also there.
given that Brathwaite had got some injury, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
hamstring
Yeah,
injury. Yeah,
yeah.
he just
And then
had a hamstring injury. Yeah,
Michaelenko also has an injury. So two main, one central defender and one wing back.
yeah.
But it's something, then I won't go there. Find that 0.5 extra million and maybe you can have 8 Nuri or something, which will be an exciting pick.
But why aren't you like, in
Cucurella.
6 million bracket? Aren't you thinking about Virgil? He's that
Uh,
unicorn of goal threat
Liverpool
I
of
defense
the
is
think
leaky, I
squad.
think, at the start
Yeah,
of the
that's what
season.
I
Yeah.
feel right at the moment. I'm not able to trust the Liverpool center backs, to be honest. Frimpong is also new. Bradley is injured. He might be fine, so he might not be out for too long. But again, like, Frimpong is not
I think we
too
are
great
starting with Frimpong.
on I'm sorry, what?
We are starting with Frimpong for sure.
Yeah,
Bradley isn't
but
coming
Bradley
back
is
in first.
expected to be back soon, right?
Not in
He's
first three
not.
game weeks. Not till the
Yeah,
first
just
international break, I
so
think.
I mean, I would not bring in a 6 million defender to think of changing him. If So, there's not a nailness in Frimpong. Virgil, I mean, I'm already not too high on Liverpool clean sheets, and if I'm not even getting the attacking returns, then I don't see a lot of point in going Virgil.
I think that partly
Equally,
also
I'm
happened
interested.
because of the final, right? The Community Shield final. Like
It
Virgil
is.
looked a little shaky too.
I think all of us had Virgil before the
Yeah,
Community
even I
Shield.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. But that shows, right? Maybe they're not up to match fitness right now. Maybe he's
Bit
not
rusty.
playing at the best levels. Could be anything. And then it's also a little bit in flux. I don't think, although Virgil is would be benched, but I think like Mark Gahey is likely to come in, and I think you're also signing another Italian defender, right? I think he's almost done. So, and then Konate, like how this would be rotated, and you know, I'm not sure.
Makes sense. I mean, if you have to save funds, I would even suggest, like, if you want a penalty taker in your forward lineup, Stan Larson can give you that a million extra as well. But
But I don't
again,
want
that's
to let go of the 7.5. I mean, one
yeah,
can always
that's
downgrade Watkins to a 7.5 for sure. But I feel Watkins would feature in my team for a good, maybe it could be even for the first 12 weeks, for all I
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
I'm that confident on Watkins.
Mm.
I don't want to let him go because he will get me those 2 goals in one of those matches. And I don't want to not have him, having moved him for somebody
right.
else just a game week
Right.
before.
Yeah, he's a season old,
So
probably.
yeah, he is almost like a season old. And if
Yeah.
Villa continue the form they have shown in preseason and even towards the end of last season, I think he's pretty much a season old. So
Yeah.
the other position is 7.5. There's a lot of people like it. There's Solanke who's coming back. He's in the squad today, in the Super Cup, and he should be back soon. And then he's a penalty taker as well. Thomas Frank's system, we all know, if he sorts Spurs out quickly, then Solanke becomes an option. If Pedro is scoring a lot of goals, he is an option. Sesko starts scoring, he is an option. uh, 7.5 million spot, I don't want to downgrade as a result. So the only place left is that Rogers spot where I can pull some money out from. I feel I can even go to Rutter at 6 million. That would give me a full million for my defense. I
Then
think that
Tillemans is better 6 million. I'm telling you,
I'm
a
not
better
so.
squad.
I
I
mean, he
would like
ended on a
to.
high, so I mean, he had 3 goals and 7 assists, but most of them came in the last 10, 15 games, I think. So, if he continues that form going into this season, I think he might be a good
Floor
pick.
is higher.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's good for
Yeah,
Defcon points too. I think. So I'm not so.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
move
So
to who's next.
yeah. Those are my thoughts. This is my team. Like
To,
few positions. I think 4 to 5 positions, considering like almost like two defender spots which are in flux. One the fifth midfielder and one forward up top. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I
otherwise,
think
the structure is pretty much set.
yeah, I like your draft. It's better than mine, I feel, to be honest. You have that flexibility to move around things. You have everyone in the price bracket if you want to jump to someone else, which I like. If you're planning to downgrade Rogers to someone, I would say get a 6 million defender instead of Diouf or Anderson. Maybe Cucurella, since you were interested in Cucurella and we talked about him, you
Yeah,
can
but he
downgrade
locks. So
Sanchez to
see,
4.5.
that's what. So I don't want to go down from Sanchez. I think Sanchez is an amazing 5 million. He's probably the best 5 million goalkeeper right now. I don't want the other one is obviously Sales, and I don't
Sells.
want a double up on Forest. So basically that is locking me out of Kukurea. The
What
only
about
other option right
Henderson?
now could
Crystal
be
Palace?
no.
Fixtures.
Fixtures
Daily.
are
Fixtures is
bad,
not
but
at
you
all.
will get the
Daily
save
goals.
points and DEFCON for goalkeepers.
Then I
no,
would rather go
I
with
think
Keller.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the reason I was saying 4.5 go with Keller and upgrade your Dio for Anderson to
Yeah,
6 million defense.
Yeah, you
Keller,
have to
just
basically
like Flecken, Keller will still get a lot of save points.
save
Yeah,
points.
And because if I remember last season, Brentford had the highest expected goals conceded, like shots from outside the box.
Yeah,
So a lot of teams take shots from outside the box against Brentford. So Kelleher will have those points, but they will leak goals. Brentford is like a very
mm,
depleted team this season.
exactly,
Even, now, if Visa
exactly.
also goes, they'll lose their attacking threat also. So it'll be like a
but
very yeah.
think about from this perspective: Sanchez plus Diouf or Anderson versus your Cucurella plus Flecken. I think Cucurella plus Flecken will give you more points.
Kelleher,
Yeah,
It's
but
debatable.
Flecken's gone.
So
yeah,
I'll just think Sanchez seems a stable pick there, and doubling up on like getting Kukurea. If you are downgrading Rogers, will be doubling up on Chelsea. That's also risky. You don't know. It's
no, and
safe.
I would rather be interested in having that forward spot open for Chelsea, right? Like Pedro, I
Yeah.
don't want to not have a slot open where if Pedro starts scoring a lot.
Right.
Let's
Right.
move
Yeah,
to next person.
let's move to the next team.
Oh, it's mine next.
Vimarsh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you put the same team again. No, but I mean, I think Aman already touched on all the points and some of the major players over here. The midfield for a lot of managers is going to be similar for those who are going with Salah. So this is my current draft, and I think it's mostly going to remain the same. So in goal, I have Sanchez for now, with Dubravka as the 4 million goalkeeper. In defense, I've kept a City defender, Ait Nouri. I mean, I don't need to explain why I've kept him, but the only risk with him would be probably if he starts and how much he plays. The other one I have is Diouf in defense. I've gone for Milenkovic in the Nottingham Forest defense. I've kept an Aston Villa defender in the form of Konsa, and I mean my enabler is Esteve or Esteve, however you pronounce it. In midfield, I've gone for the double up of Liverpool with Salah and Words, and I have Palmer, who's there, whose ownership is more than I think Salah right now. And then I have Rangers to cover Manchester City somehow in some form to cover their attack. I've kept Mitoma as my fifth midfielder for lack of reasoning to have some other one. This would very well change into, let's say, Aman mentioned Rogers earlier. If he's fit, this might as well be him, or it could be somebody else like Sar or someone, or NDI. Let's see. Up front, I've kept two forwards that will probably play, Watkins and Pedro, and I've kept you as my enabler there. Uh, so yeah, I mean this draft is pretty much similar to what Aman had earlier. The only difference being instead of Mateta, I've kept Pedro. The reasoning behind that is very simple. It's Pedro's goals in preseason. So I think it would be wrong on the part of a lot of managers if they go against Pedro. I think even Aman, you're gonna go with Pedro somehow. I
Yeah,
still
for
feel you go
sure.
with Pedro. Yeah, I mean you're wearing that T-shirt, so I'm guessing that bias will kick in later. But I think considering his form, if he plays, he is generally involved in a goal, and we saw that. With respect to midfield. There's Salah and Words. I've seen a lot of content on the internet where they've tried to fit in Bruno Fernandes as well. I was personally biased to have him, considering his upside is a lot, but his fixtures are not that good. Firstly, secondly, he's 9, so it's very difficult to fit him here, um, without compromising something else. Um, I've kept Mitoma for now because Mitoma's playing Fulham in the first game week, and I think their fixtures are not very tough. They're like mid-range fixtures in the first 5-10 game weeks. So Mitoma could be a good option, but this could very well change. In defense, I've gone with Aitori. Now here, I've had Kukurea for the last week. I just changed it recently. Um, I just feel that um, we are too focused on the fact that we can't be sure of Pep, what players he plays. So we're kind of like massively ignoring City, because I mean it's not in our hands to predict who's going to start, who's going to play how many minutes. But that's why people are not ending up with nailed City players in their teams now that Rangers is there. I'm still not sure about Rangers, by the way. If he's going to play the entire 90 minutes, if he comes in the second half or something like that, if somebody else plays instead of him. So that's the risk with City assets. And even with Aiduri, although I'm pretty sure he'll start and play, but I'm not. I still can't guarantee 100% that he'll play 90 minutes. So that's the
Yeah, you're
problem with
right. I
City.
mean, see, they have this one. No, they made Bernardo Silva their captain, and
Exactly.
there is no other place for him to play apart from that holding midfield or like defensive midfield role, and
Right.
that's exactly Reinders' place, right?
Exactly.
If Rodri is fit, Reinders is fit. Bernardo Silva is there. They will not play Bernardo at all. Like so, there will be games I think for sure where Reinders is benched, and
Right.
I feel that is gonna happen for sure.
Right.
Same with Aitnuri, right? Like we don't know how long he's on field, like
Yeah.
whether it's somebody else who comes into play in his place. But if you want to go for some minute surety, I think Guardiola is there, right, for a six
Yeah.
million.
Yeah. That could be a good option too. But I mean, this
You
could
won't
again very
spend
well.
no, you won't
uh,
spend 6 million for a center back who won't even get DEFCON because it's City. Most of the defensive work will be done. It
Fair,
will be distributed across team. So
fair point.
either you want some return advance like attacking returns or DEFCON. Something should be there apart from the clean
Yeah.
sheet part. So
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But
I
yeah,
think one thing missing in that back line is obviously Spurs. Other than that, I would not change much in this team. I think 6.5 million position is highly debatable.
yeah,
NDI, Kudus,
Yeah.
there are so many good picks. Any one of them could fail. Any of them could hit the ground running and be 7 million in no time. But um, I think it's okay to fail and like be wrong in that particular price point than the other big ones.
that's a fair point. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
6.5 is fairly crowded position actually, and it's a great price point to have in your team, in my opinion. Like you have NDI, with I think he will get a lot of chances with Grealish, sort of on the wing and him being up forward. I think Grealish and NDI will have a should form a partnership in that Everton defense, and then now they have Dewsbury Hall,
yeah,
who's might I think he'll probably play the number 10 role. At least that's what he did in the last game, and he impressed like anything. So I think he will stay in the 10 role, and he will be creating those chances. So NDI also, I think it's just that everybody had him in the team,
yeah.
and by now he's just become a boring player to see in your draft. And just because of that, we've sort of moved away from NDI. I don't feel there is another reason to not have NDI. He's like a fair shout,
I
as
think
fair as
it's
Mitoma, even better, I think, because NDI
Yeah.
has pens.
no, but you see the team play, right? Like in Everton do not tend to score. Even when Moyes joined, they played a very defensive um, kind of tactic. So that's where, like, if you want fluidity, I think Sar and Mitoma scream like, yes, there can always be a chance. But with Everton and their new Grealish could obviously help them from an attacking boost. But I think we need to still see more of them to be sure of um like their volume will be enough that NDI also that gets some share out of it. That
Right.
is
But Varun,
just
like,
my
what
thinking.
was the
There's
logic? What was the logic for all of us having NDI in our first drafts? Like, there was some thinking, right? So
it
I
was
think,
penalties.
yeah. So it is still there.
no,
He's
but
still
there's
in the
No,
another
team.
point. There's another important point to be made there. Everton did not score a lot of goals, and part of the reason also is that Dominic Calvert-Lewin could not convert a lot of chances. So earlier in some of our pods, we've shown some charts where uh, Dominic Calvert-Lewin was amongst the top strikers for big chances taken, or I mean, he got a lot of chances, but he wasn't able to convert any of them. Now,
yeah.
with him gone, I think their conversion rate might slightly improve because they still were creating some chances. And I saw some of the preseason games as well, and NDI did look. I mean, he looked impressive. He was certainly one of the best Everton players on the pitch. And even with Dewsbury Hall in the last game, he looked pretty impressive. I think a lot of people are now jumping on the Dewsbury Hall bandwagon because of the fact that is he's 1.5 million cheaper, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that's a very important consideration. That's quite a lot considering both are playing in like forward roles. So
One
So
more
with
one more
NDI,
factor is actually a Grealish signing.
yeah, that too.
Yeah,
yeah.
so that might
So
reduce the minutes of NDS.
I'll conclude on the NDI piece. I feel there are a couple of things that are putting me away from him. And when I looked at the stats, particularly from an XGI standpoint, I think one of the inflation point was because of his penalties attribute there.
Correct. Yeah.
The other one is like overall XGI volume is not that great that we consider him like we consider him like a top 6.5 million pick. When you are looking at Mitoma, if just from an eye test or anything like of
Great
that
pick.
manner I
Yeah,
mentioned, I think Mitoma stand out that he'll be there. Even
right,
Sar, even Kudus. Like I've seen more of them looking more threatening than India. I'm like models might say a different story because FPL is all about points and now not how good footballing player you are. So that is just a slight trade-off there, and I just feel Everton is still not very attacking, no matter they've signed Grealish. It's they do not have an out and out striker which they can call will always be converting.
Beto,
If India Beto is like he's
all right.
underperforming most
They
of the,
signed Barry, right?
Barry.
He didn't look
but he
too
was
good in
not
the
good.
last game.
He
Yeah,
didn't look good.
yeah,
I
Mm.
mean, come on, guys. It's just one
It's the
preseason
start.
game. Like, they've
Yeah.
not even
Yeah, yeah.
started. So it's the jury is still out there. But yeah, I mean, even Kudu started up top in a two striker system with Richarlison today with
Yeah.
against PSG. So, he could be the steal. If he starts alongside Solanke, like, how Mbumo and Vissa used to play in Brentford under him.
right.
So that makes Kudu's really interesting if he starts
But
actually converting those chances now.
his minutes will be with Richarlison, no, shared with Richarlison. If we are saying Solanke is a minutes man, then the
Solanke is on
two,
the pitch, by the way.
Oh
yeah,
yes.
he's now on the pitch. So I'll tell you how I've kind of trickled down and by a rule of elimination and what
Let's go to
their
your
negative
draft
for
then. Let's go to your draft and then
yeah, okay.
discuss.
So talking about the goalkeeper, I am Sells and Dubravka. I particularly just rate Nottingham defense slightly higher than Chelsea for the initial run of fixtures. So it sells double up with Murillo. I have currently Romero in my draft. He could be even a higher to Pedro Porro as well. Then Tarkowski and Diouf. Diouf, I'm juggling between Anderson, Diouf, Konsa. There are a lot of picks there, but I don't mind being wrong in that particular place as well. I just want a long term pick which I don't rotate. Diouf doesn't scream that right now, but yes, he has an upside from the eye test I saw in preseason. Worth Salah, similar to Aman, Vimarsh, Reinders, and Palmer's also same. So I think I'm not going
I
to
think
change
these
these
four
four.
are a common feature in almost all our teams, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Moteta, Watkins are my upfront. I am like Mateta purely because the penalty upside. I am Mateta slash Pedro slash Solanke on this role. I'm pretty convinced that it will not be Wood. Pretty convinced it will not be any other 7.5 or even Strand Larson for that matter 6.5. Just thinking of a defensive from an attacking point of view. Mateta also appeals me like if Eze goes, Sar and Mateta will take that share away unless until there is anyone stepping into those shoes. And I feel like the Eze deal will go through. Looks quite certain. But the other side of that story is will Mateta be that good without Eze or not? Or even
correct.
Sar will be
Yeah.
that good? Because even let's say Eze has been bad, not so good in that like conversion style of play where he's not very efficient. But in terms of overall gameplay, the team was built around him and Olise, then completely as a which shifted some of that responsibility were taken by Mateta and Sar. So that team should like if that is there, if I see those signed with Mateta, then I think it's fairly enough. And I completely agree what Aman mentioned that he has that capability of scoring against big teams. So I also have that feeling. It's not just because of whether I've seen those stats. I was not aware of whether he scored, but just from a gameplay, when we've seen him play, we know there is a high chance that he could end up being on the scoring sheet. Then I've gone with Tillemans. This is purely because what I'm seeing, like I've been very confused with this 6 mil 5.5 and 6.5 and I let the models do the job for me here and I saw that this was a standout pick and I particularly like him because I've seen most of the times he's on those long range set pieces. um, he's also probably most likely on penalties also, which is the current rumor around Aston on their forums as well, and then Magi and SCF. So that's there. My thought was that I will not go. I will always have a 6.5 because that gives me a good rotation downgrade to 5.5 or even a 6 million. But now I don't like NDI. I am not very sure on Kudus. because of like there is like even if you have Kudus did well because he had Bowen in the squad, he had other creative outlet. He is more of an aggressive shooter of a ball who'll just try to create a good goal from outside the box, more of that sort. So which is like if I say this as these are not something that player can do very often. If a person who's an box to box player and kind of a poacher, that kind of a 6.5 is something would I would like, which I don't see right now in anyone other than Mitoma. Like Mitoma is the only one who's like I think of can be assisting, can be scoring, could be anywhere down there. But any other player, like it's
Sar?
just my eye test right now. Yeah, Sar,
Yeah.
yes. So
Are you gonna
Mitoma and
bench
Sar.
Tillemans? Are you gonna bench Tillemans for the first game week?
If I go with Diouf, yes. If I go with Diouf, that's the thinking there because
Right.
I'm just thinking of it will be 6 points of Diouf and Tillemans best to best could be 2+2 Defcon or plus let's say one more clean sheet could be five. So that's my thinking there.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, there are quite a few shouts in the 6.5 million bracket, to be very honest. Like, for all we know, Grealish could become an amazing option few
Not from
weeks
the
down the
start, right?
line.
Yeah.
Not from the start, for sure,
Yeah.
not from the start. And same with like, even Ahmad is showing great signs.
Barnes, if he starts
Barnes is
playing,
there, right? Like
Gordon, no,
they're
I think
not gonna have Isak in their playing team for
Yeah, I
going
think one
forward.
team I'm
They
very keen on like looking at is Newcastle, how they fare.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll tell you the positions that are not locked for me. The Tillman spot, Mateta spot, and 4.5 and the Romero spot. So I'm pretty much certain. So Romero could be Poro.
So you're
Like if I
sure on
upgrade,
Tarkowski?
yeah, I'm not going without him. No matter
Nice.
I don't like I don't see that Milenkovic and Braithwaite are not there, but
Can you?
I it's very hard for me to go against
What,
like
Mikolenko
if
and
that
that.
needs to
what if what
Yeah,
if you
Mikolenko.
downgrade Tillemans to 4.5 any midfielder
there
and
is no
upgrade
player,
Guyu?
even
No, no,
I'm
don't play
certain
with
for
them.
minutes.
Don't. No, no. Forget about minutes. You can upgrade your Mark Gui to Strand Larson, which becomes an interesting pick than Tillemans.
Suraj is a Stan Larsen advocate.
Yeah,
No, I'll tell you, I even tried that rotation. So the only thing that's stopping me do that is I want to play five midfield season this year. And I see all the chances of going there.
but that fifth midfield
It's
should bring value to your team, right? I don't think
yes, and
Tillemans
I
is
know
bringing
there
any
will
value.
be. I know there will be a player in the recent weeks only, and because, as Aman suggested, it's so highly contested, you will have to jump on that 6.5 as early as possible. So the idea is, again, it could be like I might uh, think of making Tillemans a 6.5. I'll have to obviously find some funds from either Romero, could be Van der Ven. That was initially the case. It was always Van der Ven, and then when I saw that Romero is captain, and I although like him as a player as well, I thought it's best to be sure that his minutes are now very certain. And then the other 6 million player I found was Tillemans. I was initially also thinking to keep point 0.5
In the
like
bank.
as a backup in the bank because
Yeah.
other 5.5 I like is John Arias there as
Yeah.
well, Anderson as well, and in the 5 million I even like Dewsbury Hall. So the
I've
other draft,
actually, I actually feel in one of my initial drafts, I had a team with two 5.5s, and I
yeah,
feel that it could actually become a very viable draft, a very viable team.
but it
Say
doesn't
three,
allow
four
me to go to that
teams.
6.5 quickly.
I'm saying you might not need to because
Yeah,
5.5s could end up performing better than all of the 6.5s. That's what
the
I'm saying.
only
And but we don't know for sure right now. That's what.
The
yeah,
question is which
Yeah,
5.5s?
yeah.
John Arias, there's Anderson. Like, what happens if
Fixtures.
all of a sudden Anderson is getting you two DefCon points every match? Along with a clean sheet, that's 5 points, and then say once in say 3 or 4 game weeks, he gets you an assist. Then that's an extra 3 points, and considering that Forest is not a very high scoring team, he also is amongst the bonus. So that all of a sudden becomes a double digit haul from Anderson
So in
in
that
say
case, why
one.
don't a lot of people pick Caicedo then? I mean, he's massive for.
Caicedo is Yeah,
I
but
mean,
Caicedo is not amongst goals. That's the problem.
Also, you
Although
want
he
book a
started
so
to become
slot
is I
attacking,
mean even
for.
Anderson is not that much into goals.
Yes, I will
assist
not
threat is
read
there.
those XGI.
But you
Even
won't
though
book that slot of Chelsea in Caicedo. You want Pedro or
Right.
Yeah, that
Cucurella
was the
at
point.
some, yeah.
see, my like with DEFCON, I'm more relying like Bruno is the only player.
Yeah.
Maybe it's very certain that he will be a DEFCON monger over there, but I'm still relying DEFCON. I think 10 is still achievable, 12 is still a thing because even if you see the distribution, right, why FPL has put this as a 10 for defenders because that looks achievable like even from a 90% pool only 10% of the defenders throughout can achieve that 10 and for midfielder it's 12 because even a smaller pool, so it's not that easy to get those 12. I know Bruno did that in the preseason game and everything went towards him, but I'm saying it is not very likely, and with the 5.5s it's even harder to predict that. It's harder to predict how teams are set up, and like it will be only throughout the season we see that hey, this team has been set up like this, which currently I feel like Thomas Frank like team, Moyes like team, or Nuno like team could only be
Mhm.
set up like that. But otherwise, there are very less teams I see could be there, and these are also like the games which are very tightly contested. Right now, even if I see the looks of the team on paper, I can surely say who could be that initial top eights. Like there is a clear gap between teams with because of the player and the transfers that are happening right now. We might not even see Newcastle in top 10 the way they are shaped right now without Isak. Their 60% of goal share was coming from Isak. So will they be the same sort of team that they were last year? So if playing against Newcastle gave you those like middling teams gave you those DEFCON opportunities, that might or might not be the case. So with midfielders, it's very hard to predict that kind of thing like whether DEFCON is an added advantage there or not.
Right, right.
I'm just saying that there would be players, the budget enablers will emerge for sure.
Yes.
Yep.
We don't know whom they are. Could be anybody. Could be a Defcon monster. Could be also an attacking budget midfielder. But yeah, like we need. They will emerge when they do. For now, I think
The
fair
only
shout. Like
suggestion I
Tielemans is a
want,
fair shout.
the only suggestion I want from you guys is like if you are thinking still 5.5 to 5.5 is viable, then will it be good to upgrade Romero to a 5.5 or Tarkovsky to an 8 Nuri or a 6 mil defender?
I think Tarkovsky to an 8 Nuri or 6 million probably.
Yeah, anyway, you'll
Hmm.
have to remove Tarkovsky. Not will have to, but it's better
I mean,
given that they're
he
two
doesn't
defender.
want to. For sure, he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't know what is the bias
Go.
behind
I think
I mean,
Liverpool fan
the
liking
only the
Everton
only
more.
issue I have with this draft, everything is, I mean, most of it is similar to mine and Aman's only, and all of us are pretty much the same core players. The only thing that catches my eyes is a double up on Nottingham Forest defense. That's the only thing. I mean, I wouldn't go with. I mean, not that they are bad or something, but I generally don't like going with like defensive double ups unless it's like absolutely guaranteed. But yeah, for at least for the first game week, it's a good double up.
See, I completely agree there. I am also tempted whether it should be Sanchez because there are hardly any draft now I'm seeing with cells, but
Yeah,
it is I think they're very tightly contested place.
Yeah.
Also, Sanchez till last year was not considered a good goalkeeper, which is now like people are backing him even on that aspect. I would agree if you are backing Sanchez because a 5 million price point for a team like Chelsea makes sense.
right.
It's not that Sanchez has gotten better in any of those aspects where you'll rate him
I mean,
completely
after
high.
the
It's
Club World
like
Cup final, he was straight into my team.
that is a one-off game. It's still an outlier for
I
me.
know that. Yeah, it is an absolute outlier. I'm considering or looking at how he played that day. It was an outlier by
And that's why
every
for
possible
me
means.
even I was thinking that's why I'm thinking of going with even Kelleher and Cucurella
Yeah,
because that gives me an attacking upside in that Chelsea team and whatever clean sheets we might bank,
yeah.
that's a bonus at this point. I as a Chelsea fan, I myself don't have too much of a trust in Sanchez. I'm full disclosure. It's just that I want a piece of that defense. Our defense in general is good. We will not concede too many chances. I'm just hoping that Sanchez keeps the ball out in for most of the case for most of
What
the
what
match.
about what about Reece James? Bringing in Reece James for the first game week. I think he's fit for the
I
first game
don't
week,
think
right?
I don't think any of us are ready to bite that bullet just right now. we'll come to it if
Guys,
he
PSG
shows.
has equalized in 94th minute.
Oh,
It's
wow.
two
Equalized.
two.
Yes, it's 2-2.
Oh,
So there goes
There
there
goes
Tottenham
the
goes your Tottenham
defensive
defense
picks.
out of your
transfer
draft.
out. A lot of transfers out now.
Anyway,
We
let's
should we should
discuss the
we should
last
do
draft.
We should have
we should
tracked
do
the ownership
live.
before and after.
Yeah, we should have done live knee-jerk reaction video at least. So,
Let's look at Suraj's draft now. I'm
Yeah,
curious
somebody
to that.
tweeted. I just add this. Somebody tweeted. Now this is the Tottenham I know.
Yeah, I was just about to say, how typical is that of Tottenham? How
uh,
typical.
You know
oh
the
my
person
God.
who is the most surprised right now? Thomas Frank.
welcome to hell.
Oh my God.
Yes. Let's look at
Okay.
Suraj's team. So go ahead, Suraj.
Okay. So I always go cheap in defense because I do feel because of DEFCON we will get those 4.55 million defender which will have the DEFCON plus clean sheet potential and I will switch to them. I'll reserve those transfer for that. So just for our audio listeners, I'll just read it out. It's Kelleher and Dubravka for goalkeeper. Neko Williams, Konsa, Tarkowski, Esteve, and Renildo. I have two 4 million defenders. Both are starters and with a good DEFCON potential as well. In my midfield, I have Salah, Saka, Palmer, Wirtz, Dewsbury Hall. And in the forward, I have Watkins, Stan Larson, and Mark Green. So that's my team, guys. And
Very
the
impressive.
idea behind is because I wanted Saka because of his even his non-penalty XGI is 0.72. Uh,
Right.
It's the
even
most
if it doesn't
maverick
have
team of us all.
So I'll tell you,
that's
when we started this pod, Suraj's tagline was, I am going to give you those differential pick, not a differential team.
Yeah.
But he's gone with a completely differential
But I
team.
think
But
Saka is a good cover for game week 2. I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
I mean,
it's a very
yes,
good pick
that's
that
all.
way.
yeah.
The only thing
And
that
I
gets
have a
compromised is the second
so
striker
I'll
spot.
tell you, yeah, I'll tell you the idea behind it actually. So Saka has two initial good fixtures. After that, it becomes tough. Within that two fixtures, I have to find someone who I can replace with and either upgrade my forward, either with João Pedro if he's starting, or the defense. That's my plan. So Saka
That's a
is
good
Right.
two
plan.
game week punt.
Right. The only thing here is it's a very thin bench. Just in case
Yeah.
there's something up with any player, it's going to be really tough to fix things probably. And I mean, I don't think Strand Larson will score against City, but then you never know what might happen in that game. So that is the only pick that bothers me. But having Saka in here, I think that will compensate everything in the second game week probably if he gives if he gives good returns in the second game week.
Yeah. Wolves fixture in general, apart from the City, are decent enough. So
Decent.
the the team is not for game week 1. It's for
Uh,
6 to 8
so
game weeks.
you
So
just
yeah.
have to weather the first game week storm with
Yes, and he
Strand Larson in there.
if Wolves scores, it could be Strand Larson either assisting or scoring. So
Right.
I would suggest you could think of moving Tarkowski to a 4.5, say a Richards, who's again amazing on the DEFCON, say by game week 4, right? So, right when fixtures turn better for Crystal Palace, that gives you an extra point 0.5, and you move one of Ronaldo or Esteve to
yeah,
another 4.5, so a solid 4.5. So, your bench is sorted, and then obviously Saka will give you enough money to upgrade anybody in the team, basically.
right. Yes, I'm still thinking about Tarkowski, given that they got defensive injuries with two of their players. But I'm not getting whom I should pick with 5.5. I don't want to go with Pedro, but I
I
can go with
think
Pedro and
if
then
you
Munoz.
if your thought is with Saka for 2 game week, then I think it makes sense to even have Gyökeres rather than say 1 million and go there
Right.
But
because then
Gyökeres
you will
starts,
save.
we don't know, right?
I'll
Whether
tell you
he'll be
why.
starting the
I
game
think
He
week
he
is
will.
one.
starting.
Let's say even if
We
he
don't
starts,
know.
Most
Nobody
of
okay.
the
can say for
most
sure.
of the most of the places in the predicted lineup, and even FF Scout also just released an article of their predicted lineup for most card. Arsenal are starting with
But
Gyökeres. He is
based
a
on
70 minutes.
Predicted.
Ba- but
They
my
are
point
predicted.
my point being even if he starts, I'm not sure he has just played one game. He has scored one goal. He had another
But
chance with a header.
have you
But
seen the way he played in that game?
uh, that's fine. It's just one game. I can't put my 9 million into that. I'll play Bruno instead of that then. Because he will surely start. He'll
Yes.
surely
I
assist
just
or give a
I
DEFCON
think
point.
I
Gyökeres
would have
even has a
actually
higher
suggested
ownership than
you can
Saka.
actually
With
you
this
should
team, I
actually
can't
go with
play or
Bruno.
yeah, with this team, I can't play. If you see, I have very thin bench. I can't go with Gyökeres. If he doesn't start, I'm gone. I can't take risk with this team. So that's the reason I've
So
gone with
two,
Saka. Uh-huh.
just two thoughts. One, we don't know whether Saka has the penalties anymore. It's
Yep.
likely that Gyökeres will come in and ask for it because he's a striker. He's that kind of a striker who's selfish. So he will take it away from Saka, and Saka is very easy on that. He usually
Yeah,
gives
yeah.
them away quite easily. So that brings down the appeal of Saka. Second, I feel Bruno is a much better pick in that spot for Saka.
You save a
Also
million too.
gets you, yeah,
But
gets you another
when
million,
you
makes your team very robust in defense. You can upgrade a 4 million defender right now. You could also upgrade Dewsbury Hall if you want. You could also upgrade Nico Williams or your goalkeeper, anything. I think that 1 million is very precious in
yes,
Saka. I would say, like, you should think about Bruno instead of Saka.
see,
So
I'm
to
telling you
counter
against
to
just a
counter that,
point.
Aman,
So if you
go ahead, then I'll.
we can just look at what is Saka and Bruno's expected point for like if we have that
Yeah,
for the
let's go
first
to the
three games.
chart.
Yeah, let's just see that.
So the point I want to make there is like if they are very closely tied, right? Saka is like 4.9, 6.6, 4.1, which is 10, 15, and Bruno is also somewhere like he'll
Yeah.
cover up in the game week 3. But what you with Bruno, what you have is him getting 4 points is kind of becoming certain.
Yeah, it's a floor. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is where it is better. Saving that 1 million makes sense. And see, the moment you said it's kind of a point, with Bruno, I think it's not even a punt. You could keep him even for a longer time, right? And like even in the stretch of 6 game weeks where I am not considering United fixtures to be really solid, he's still getting 28 points. I mean, from Bruno, that is much higher. And let's say if you put that context of penalties not with Saka, which I think currently in this numbers it is there because top three striker, that is why he's there, then this will be a completely different picture. So
I
your
don't
1
think so.
million
So
will,
that's what I was saying. It has nothing to do with penalties. Without penalties, Saka's non-penalty XGI is 0.72. It's much better
so
than what Bruno has.
For
And
sure.
the thing with United is the problem with United is I'm not sure among Sesko, Cunha, and Buemo, who all three are selfish. I'm not sure whom are the will be the top scorer in that. I would ideally go. I will stick with United player who is scoring or contributing more towards goal. I know Bruno will have some
mm,
assist here or there, but I'm not sure.
So
So that's
meanwhile,
the reason.
you
Mhm.
assess that. I feel you can anyway start with Bruno. Bruno can be Acuna or Mbumo, anybody, and Bruno, you can take funds out of him and make Strand Larsen a Sesko if you need to. I think the suggestion here is just to, if you are anyway going for Saka as a 2 game week punt, right? Rather go with Bruno for the first 3 game weeks. Bruno gets you the best game week 3 captain as well, right? And gets you a same average points, and for sure he has a better floor than Saka, right?
Mhm.
if you
So
could
if
go back
if
to
you're
your
looking in
team,
just a short term horizon, I feel you can start with Bruno and then assess. You want to stay with him, move him to another a
But then,
better United
The
pick,
only
or him.
counter, yeah, the only counter there is that firstly Saka has a second game week that can be a huge haul,
captaincy.
and I feel that considering the attack that has like the reinforcements that United now have, I don't think
Hmm.
captaining Bruno Fernandes he will have that high of a ceiling in that game week as
You
compared to
will
Saka
not
on
captain
paper.
Bruno.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I
you
yeah.
think
have
that is the
power
only counter
anyway, right?
against. No,
You
no,
have
no, I'm
power.
saying that's the only counter against the thought process of going
See,
against
the
Bruno.
best case scenario for his team is if Saka has a return against United, and if it's a goal return, then huge
Right,
upside.
right.
And then if it is with Leeds, he will already gain like 1 or 2 million,
Yeah.
or point 1 or point 2 million easily by game week 2, because that's always going to be a movement when
And
you
again,
have
it could go the
a
other way around
captaincy.
also. Maybe Bruno scores in the first game.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yes.
So it's very tough. I mean, it's just
And
that's how
also
that's.
I really like the aggressive approach of this team because there are, I think, one, two, three, four, five sure shot outlet of goals. Watkins and your four midfielder, which I think my team only has four. or even Mateta, but not as good as like if I talk about how Saka's output is in terms of both goal, attacking returns, goals and assists both. The only thing is this structure is stopping you from going to from Stan Larson to 7.5 without two transfers or a hit if you want to go there early, and it is also not allowing you to like Dewsbury Hall to a 5.5 or even a 5.5 defender. So in each position where you see those, like currently in terms of midfielders, we are very confused about which 5.5 midfielder is best. In defense also 5.5 or 6 million which is best, and even on the attacking side we are thinking of which 7.5 is best. We are thinking about these position and these price point because they are highly contested, and I think the good set of players are also kind of concentrated in these price points. So that is where I think there is no gateway that I'm clearly seeing, barring the fact that let's say your team does good for first three game weeks, then you play a free hit and probably move forward. You can't play a
Not
bench boost
really.
also with this
No,
team.
no.
But with
I
with
feel
just two
like
game
you
week, I
could,
can do that.
yeah, yes, you can just
Anyway, you are
easily
not
save
going
up a
to
few
transfer
transfers.
exactly. Anyway, you are not going to transfer in the after first game week itself unless it's injury, right, to your main player.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
planning not to do till game week 2. In game week 3, I'll assess the situation if I need to go high on defense or high on attack, and I can move my players accordingly. So that's the plan.
But the
That's the reason
sort of
Saka's
what
two
I don't
first.
like about it is that you are booking a transfer basically for game week
Yeah,
3. I don't like that idea. Rather, I would, go with Bruno, who's pretty much a sorted pick. Sure, he might not have as high as a upside like Saka. But again, with, Gyökeres coming in, we also don't know what kind of an impact it might have on Saka's output. Maybe Gyökeres becomes that sole focal point of Arsenal and everything starts flowing to him, and Saka is only giving assists as best. Although, from what preseason game we've seen, feels like Saka is still as attacking. He's right at the corner of that box and goal. But again, like I'm saying, just from a stable team stability point of view, feels like Bruno is a good place to be, and you can strengthen up your team in other places. So you actually can go farther into the season without a transfer. Say you reach game week 3 and 4, and you have not made a transfer. Now you have like three transfers to play with, and that's a good place to be.
got it.
Mhm.
What if
And I
there's an
think one
other?
theme with arts.
Sorry. So what if there's an alternative way to get that 1 million? Downgrade words to Gakpo. You'll get that 1 million and use that over there. I do feel Gakpo has more goal threat. Words has more assist threat. So goal over assist kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like although Gakpo is a sleeper pick right now. Nobody's
Very
looking at
differential.
him, and
Until Isak
yeah,
joins
I
the club. So
I mean, yeah, I mean,
that
I did
yeah,
see a lot of drafts without Salah and with Words and Gakpo.
yeah.
So that
Yeah,
is also
if you
one
go
route.
without
Yeah,
Salah, then you have
yeah.
to
yeah,
tax. Basically, you have to go with two attacking players from Liverpool. So the
right.
other player, obviously Gakpo in that case.
Yeah.
I do like Gakpo a lot. I just feel like Verts will be more involved. Again, like Liverpool will definitely be sharing the goals amongst those forwards. I feel it would be Salah and Wirtz, and whoever is your striker who will have the majority share. Gakpo will sort of lose a little bit of his goal share.
Mm.
The other thing that I'm feeling is like when I looked at Aman's and Vimarsh's draft and even mine, even if let's say there is a theme or narrative around bench boost too, we are in a position to play that. Wherein like you can only navigate that with a Saka captaincy. There is, and that
No,
is
no,
also a very risky
I have a
upside.
bench. If you see Sunderland, I have you have Mark Gui as well, right?
But
Then you will have one 4 million
Mark
defender.
Gui,
I just have one extra 4 million defender. That's the only difference. You have one 4.5, I have one 4.
For all we know, this
but
bench
that
might outscore others in the bench boost.
If you see the second game, it's the all their fixtures are better. I'm not sure Dubraka plays or not due to the
You
match
can
fitness, but
actually,
Exactly.
if
I feel this team is pretty well set for a second game week bench boost.
yeah,
I mean, it's
no, but
risky. It's risky.
it's
It's very
risky.
risky. But if by some way Sunderland can actually put up a good performance, who's the second match against? Second Sunderland second match?
Let me check.
It's against
It's Burnley.
Burnley, right?
Yeah.
It's Burnley away, and Burnley is not in a great spot. I feel Sunderland have definitely strengthened a lot better than Burnley, but it's at Burnley.
So
The
you are
problem with
basically you are
these,
expecting no, I'll tell you. Basically, you are expecting a nil-nil draw because Steve and Dubravka versus Ronaldo and Margui.
yeah,
And Margui you don't expect to score because if he scores, then Dubravka and Steve is
both lose their clean
uh
sheet. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
it
yeah, that's the
is
other
kind
good,
of
good
cutting
catch,
it.
good catch. Like your bench is basically playing against each other
Yeah.
in second game week.
Yes.
So
Yes.
not
Best that can
so,
happen. Best that can happen
that's
is a
not
0-0
favorable.
draw.
Also,
Yeah.
what I think
Or if it happens 1-1,
with
I'm
the
gone.
bottommost
Yeah.
teams, so, so with the bottommost teams in those matches, they go for the kill because they
Yeah.
know those are the only places, only matches where they can actually get a
Snatch the
actual
points.
result out of the
Yeah.
match, right? So they go full attack in those kind of matches,
And
and
I think
I
Sunderland will win
them
against
both
Burnley.
the teams to score.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like from that perspective doesn't look a great bench boost too,
Yeah.
Yeah. But my plan of bench boost, to be honest, is after when Salah goes to F1, because that's when I'll have
right?
funds to proper strengthen my bench as well.
That's a that's too like after game week 13.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
Interesting.
that perspective, I actually like your team, to be very honest. This is
Yeah, I
something
think
that I myself have heavily considered this setup genuinely. And for me, I've just basically in place of Saka, I have Bruno, which I'm also suggesting you in this draft. I have Watkins and Strand Larson up top. That's the only way. And I've basically used that 1 million to strengthen up my defense. That's the only that and exactly my suggestions to you.
Oh, is that an
But yeah,
Yeah.
alternative draft you have?
I think
yeah,
there's an
that
alternative. This is the one with Bruno.
With I
right.
actually I like this a lot because it covers at least the West Ham attack
yeah.
in the first game.
Hmm.
Very
Yeah,
enticing draft.
and yeah, it is. But I feel like
Yeah.
maybe I don't know why, but I've not seen a lot of encouraging signs in at least preseason from Wolves. But
I think this is a
having
pretty solid midfield.
Yeah,
but
it is.
yeah. This is
Pretty solid
exactly what
I
I
midfield,
think
had.
defense.
this is that time of the year when others' drafts always seem better than yours. You will always feel something missing from your own draft, and then you'll be like, "Oh, I could have this." I would
Yeah,
love to have West Ham attack. As I mentioned earlier, I had Bowen for a long, long time, and I somehow am in favor of a 3-4-3. But again, I don't know how long it will hold, so I might just go with a 3-5-2. But let's see. I somehow can't make up my mind for a 4-4-2. I can't play four defenders somehow. It's very difficult for me to like field four defenders in a
Yeah.
game week unless it's absolutely essential. I don't think I'm
no,
gonna do that.
you
You can
can. I
this
mean,
time you can, but
this
it's
time
just
you can.
yeah, it's just personal biases and personal
Yeah, it's
preference.
just a bias, and
Yeah,
I think
Suraj, do you
last
have that Gyökeres draft as well?
I think I have it somewhere over here. Give me a second. Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, so this is what like apart from the Mateta thing I was telling you about the three positions. I have kept Gyökeres, Anderson, Romero, and I downgraded Tillmans to Dewsbury Hall. So this is another thing that I can
fair
go
enough.
with, which is
Yeah.
why I was suggesting Gyökeres to Suraj in the initial place versus
Right,
Saka. I like this one because I think if Gyökeres hits the ground running and everyone wants to go there, they'll
right.
try to lose out Watkins and make that space. And I don't want to lose out Watkins,
Yeah, this
and
is
that
good.
is my
This is good. This looks good. It covers all major attacks: City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal, and Aston Villa. I mean, considering there's Watkins there. The only thing is two Everton assets, but that's okay. I think one can live with it.
you could
I
also
can
downgrade
change that.
you could downgrade Romero to say Van de Ven if you
Now
want
that
just a
Tottenham have
plug-in.
lost, you can downgrade.
Van
But
der Ven, he can become Van der
that's an
Ven, and
easy,
Tarkowski
that's
can
an easy
become Eight
place.
Nuri.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would prefer. I mean, anybody
Or
would prefer
Cucurella.
Aidnuri over Tarkowski. Yeah, even
Or
Kukurea.
But I'm going with too many minute risks then.
No,
No,
Kukurea
Kukurea
is
is not a
nailed.
minute
Cucurella is
risk.
nailed.
Not
Van de
Kukurea,
Ven is
but
not.
Aidnuri might be. You
I
never know
know.
how much he'll play.
Yeah.
Eight Nuri and Gyökeres are
Yeah.
only.
Yep.
Yeah, so this one, yeah, it's up to you how you want to play that point
But
five,
this
where
is
you
a
want
good
to
It's
play
good
five.
this
balanced
is
draft.
very similar. Yeah, this is very similar to the Bruno draft that Aman was talking about. It's just instead of Bruno, 9 million goes to
Gyökeres.
Gyökeres. Yeah.
Yep,
I mean, it's a good
exactly.
one. It's a very it covers a lot of teams. gives you good cover for a lot of teams. So I really like
I
Most
this.
mean, we are
importantly, you have
trusted.
a second game week captain in
Yeah,
Gyökeres.
exactly,
Yeah.
Gyökeres. So I like it in that sense.
So it will be
But
I'll be just juggling between these two graphs, and probably if I go with this draft, I think I will be panicking a lot to
right.
watch those lineups and like what are the starting, because um I hope I go with Kukurea in that case and not tempted by Nuri, but I don't know, something is driving me towards Nuri there as well.
Yeah.
His returns from
One
last season are driving you
one
towards.
one reason I don't want to go with X minutes picks, at least in the forward section, is because most of the goals are scored after 70 minutes. I want those players like Gyökeres. I want him after 70 minutes to be playing in the pitch so that I get those extra goals or
What
points.
what if he plays the first 70? What will you do then?
So till the time United does not get a good defensive midfielder, which they are trying, I think Arsenal can score an early goal. I have not. I think they're still the top three team in England, right?
Yeah.
So
If Onana plays, definitely you can.
yeah.
If Onana plays, he himself might score too as an
Yeah.
own
Yeah,
goal.
quite possibly. Yeah. It's yeah.
But
Anyway, do
anyway,
we want to
let's.
discuss anything else or want to
No,
wrap it?
I think that's just about it from my side. What about you guys?
I'll think about
No,
what the
just
feedback I got. I do think I need to strengthen the defense, but I'm not sure. I don't want to lose Saka to be honest. But let's see. I think that's the spot I'll have to downgrade.
There are some fair few, considerations. I feel like we're not at all sorted. Although, like, if you think of it, almost 80% of the team is set. The core is there. it, what is unsettling is, the considerations of some big hitters like Bruno, like Gyökeres, whether you want them right away from the start or you want to watch for a few weeks. There's that s- consideration in the back of our mind that, what if by the game week 3 they rise up in price by zero point 0.2 or zero point 0.3 million, and they're out of
Be
your
able to
reach, and
afford them. Yeah.
yeah, and you won't be able to afford them. So I think that's what's driving everyone to just get it right, nail it absolutely 100% in game week 1. Not always possible, but I feel just pick what you feel your gut is telling you to.
yeah.
There's a lot of data, there's a lot of eye test and whatnot, but I think at the end of the day, ideas should always be to enjoy the game, and you'd always enjoy if you have the players where your heart is, where your gut, what your gut is telling to. So go with your gut. I feel I would. That's my suggestion.
I mean,
Yeah.
my gut
Uh,
would tell me to take Cunha, Mbumo, and Sesko all three. So I listen to that. But let's see.
yeah. So on top of that, just use slight bit of your brain as well. Uh,
That's why I have no United assets right now.
Okay, on the last note, but yeah, it was a great discussion. I think we all proved to disprove some of our judgments, but that's the fun of building these draft towards game week 1, and it might not be relevant when we are in the middle of the season that what we went with. We do not, we hindsight look back at our decision, but don't, the season is not defined by what we go in game week 1 at least. The core is obviously strong for most of the teams. Lastly, we wanted to take a moment to just tell our viewers to help us grow. Subscribe our channel, hit the bell icon. We've kind of uploaded around 5 podcasts right now. We are also uploading reels on the team draft. Aman, Suraj, Vimarsh, we are all uh, throwing out content that is relevant to make the clear decision, which will help you start a season on a positive note and at least in a position that can help you establish your journey for the entire season as well. So keep a track of our channel, keep looking into the stuff that we put each week, and do follow us on our social handle as well as Instagram and Twitter. So we're putting all the data and as much as differential and the key insights that we gather throughout the week in terms of the information.